watching Big 12 Now on ESPN+. The defending national champions back home in Waco, ranked 4th these days in the national polls. The Baylor Bears welcome to town the Golden Lions out of the SWAC of UAPB. Welcome inside the Farrell Center, everybody. Lincoln Rose, along with former Baylor Bear standout King McClure. And King, this past week, Baylor had to do something they never had to do in that national championship run in Indianapolis. That was win 3 games in 3 days.
Man, Lincoln, we do pretty well in the Bahamas. I was there for the last one. They did it again this year. It was very impressive to beat Arizona State, Michigan State, and VCU. 3 really, really good programs. They played well, and they're one of the best teams in the country.
It's the first in many trophies that Scott Drew and this Baylor program have their sights set upon. Of course, James Akinjo, when it's all said and done, claimed that MVP trophy in those 3 days for the battle for Atlantis. Today they face a UAPB team that is under the guidance of first-year head coach in Solomon Bozeman, and really haven't had many games in their own backyard. They're trying to get those paydays, if you will. It's the truth of a first-year head coach. You're trying to rebuild a program, rebuild a roster, and trying to get them battle-tested before conference play.
Yeah, it's so tough being in a low-major conference because your whole season comes down to a conference tournament. So no matter what you do in the non-conference, no matter what you do in your conference, if you do not win your conference tournament, basically your season is over with. So that's so tough.
You can go undefeated in your conference, but you slip up in the tournament, and all of a sudden, you're right, you're just hoping for some other tournament to extend your season.
Or on the flip side, you can go defeated in conference. You can lose no games, win your conference tournament, and still make it to the conference tournament.
Meyer dumps it down, perhaps was looking for it. Instead, Kendall Brown pulls up. The preseason freshman of the year in the Big 12 just off the mark as the Golden Lions of UAPB 1-8 on the season. That lone victory against Arkansas Baptist. This is a team with 8 newcomers, 7 transfers. No starters from last year return for first-year head coach Solomon Bozeman. Talk about the transfers. They found some good talent. Going to play their college ball for Pine Bluff. 5 on the shot clock. They find the open look. And that's Bram Harris just unable to knock it down. Flagler. Junior makes his 7th start of the year, one of the 3 Bears on the Naismith watch list.
You gotta shoot that one.
Yeah, Kinjo, he was listening to you. Flo Thamba out-rebounds 2 Golden Lions, and that'll reset the opportunity here on offense. And they reward the big man for setting the screen. Thamba's going to go to the free throw line.
I know one thing, UAPB cannot keep going under all those ball screens. You saw with James Akinjo when he shot the first three. Then Adam Flagler should have shot that 3. If anybody goes under a ball screen, Lincoln, gotta let it fly.
Thamba this year, 9 of 15 from the charity stripe. Big man last year shot 61% from the line. The only starter back from last year's national championship run. All the others are either in the NBA, the G League, or the NFL.
Isn't that weird to say, huh? The NFL.
Modest press here from the Bears as bringing up the floor for the Golden Lions. Bram Harris, ball plucked away, but saved by Sean Williams, a transfer from Nicholls State out of the Southland Conference. And a flush getting up, Kylan Milton. The sophomore, former Hilltopper from Western Kentucky, tops the rim.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting that, to split the double and then rise up. Okay.
Averages about 13 points a ball game. Akinjo, a little bit past the free throw line. Another offensive board for Baylor. Baylor's one of the best teams in the nation right now in second chance scoring opportunities. Contact on the baseline, and after the dunk on one end, the defensive stop on the other, drawing the charge. Nice job by the same man, Kylan Milton.
Getting it done on both ends of the floor. You see the nasty dunk, and then the defensive stop, 2-way play, huh?
First man off the bench, Trace Sampson, a junior out of Davenport, Iowa, who's given them 13 points a ball game. And heads up play by Williams, the senior. His final year, first year as well with the Golden Lions. Averaged 9.5 points per ball game last year for the Colonels of Nicholls over there in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Will step back. And a nice start for UAPB. Trey Sampson able to connect. He only hit 20% of his triples this year before that one.
You know, I'm not mad at UAPB's game plan as we see Flagler hit the three. Go on down the ball screens and make Baylor's guards shoot the ball, shoot the three.
And a walk on the other end by the Golden Lions after Flagler knocked down the three for Baylor. Again, UAPB. Baylor is one of the 4 non-conference matchups they have this year against NCAA tournament teams. Matthew Meyer, preseason All Big 12, the senior, trying to go out in style. Grew up just down the road in Austin. From the elbow. That one won't go for Harris. Meyer connected last time down. This time Akinjo, the extra pass.
Tough shot.
A combo with the offensive rebound. Did not hit the rim.
Oh.
0 for 2 on that trip down with the rebound to Sampson.
It's not really the strength of flow. I mean, he can do it, but it's not really one of his strengths. He's more of a offensive rebound, kick out type of big.
Baylor's on a 6-0 run at the moment. Now that only gives them a 3-point lead here early on, as it is 8-5 with 16.5 minutes to go.
Oh.
A shot a little too strong, but a foul underneath. Let's see if that goes against A.J. Stredick, the junior. Contra is about to flex his step. Another look. So shot clock at 20. Baylor leading 8-5. Kinjo, the product out of Oakland, his 3rd collegiate stop, all Pac-12 at Arizona previously, after starting as a Georgetown Hoya.
Good one more.
Pryor goes the corner. Sohan on his first stroke of the night. That's a long 2. Foot was on the line.
That was great unselfishness right there from James Akinjo, being able to hit the one more to the open Sohan.
Sohan out of England, went to school in Germany growing up, so of course he plays for the Polish national team.
Good pass.
Great feed, and the flush. Jonathan Chachua throws it down on the oop. A 10-0 run for the defending national champions, starting to find their rhythm. 10-0 run in Waco has Baylor out ahead by 7, 12-5 over the Golden Lions of UAPB of the SWAC. We welcome you courtside, Lincoln Rose, along with King McClure. And, well, part of that 10-0 run was Scott Drew dipping into his bench early.
That's what happens when you win. That's how you win. That's what we saw last year with the championship team. That's what you see this year again. In order to win, the secret to success in March is depth. And Baylor has that once again this year. When you see, I feel like one of the strong suits of Baylor is when their bench. I mean, you bring in John for flow, and your team rises sometimes. That's rare, and I think that's what brings success.
Nobody's been doing more winning than Scott Drew's team. They have the nation's longest winning streak dating back to last year, 13 straight wins in Division I. Of course, they won the most important one, the last game of the season last year up in Indianapolis. UAPB was off to a quick start. They've been cold as of late, trying to get back on track coming out of the timeout. Sohan with the rebound. Sohan, a 4-star recruit. A couple of 4-stars and a 5-star thrown into the mix with the defending national champs. Congested lane, able to get the first shot up, and Chachua can't finish, but got his teammate there to pick up the slack, Kendall Brown.
You know, you talk about the 4-stars and the 5-stars. One thing I've been most impressed with these young guys is their maturity on the basketball court. Ability to not try to do too much. They know their games. They have a great feel for the game, and they compete on the defensive end. Very rare as a freshman.
That was a nice dish at the last second by Sean Williams to pick up the assist as the Golden Lions back on the board, trailing 14-7. We'll step back Cryer.
Oh.
Good. L.J. Cryer from west of Houston in Katy, Texas, shooting a modest 49% coming into the day from beyond the arc.
Man, that's impressive right there. That's what he does. He's a three-point shooter who can really get it going and score. I mean, he's an offensive threat every time he touches the basketball.
And forcing the issue and able to get it to go, Brandon Brown. The pride of Memphis, Tennessee, averaging 8.5 boards, 8.5 points per game.
He just gets it done on both ends and really competes, and strong players. We see the acrobatic move right there.
Kendall Brown. I want to drive in whatever lane he's on I-35. That was uncontested. As a 10-point lead for Baylor, 19-9. As Akinjo.
Was it not intentional?
They're not going to appeal that.
That's two hands on him with no play on the basketball. That should be an intentional foul.
Adam Flagler back on the floor. Kinjo directs traffic. Sean Williams picking him up again. Baylor leading 19-9 here inside 14 minutes in the opening half. Late to close on Cryer, makes him pay.
I just feel like the scouting report on L.J. Cryer should be, do not let him get a three off. If he sees the ball go up, he's shooting at a 50% clip. Don't let him get the ball off.
20-4 run for Baylor. Looking for the quick transition, but Williams the steal. And despite the contested effort, Brandon Brown able to finish at the glass.
Good layup right there by Brandon Brown.
Kinjo will slow things down for a moment. 22-11 with 13 to go here in this opening half. Flagler off the screen. Doesn't pull the trigger. Instead, it's Akinjo. Rebound winds up in the arms of Jalen Thomas, the Tulsa product, former Murray State man. Before UAPB played its first and only home game of the year, they went 6 states, 7 games in 17 days. Tested early, no wins to show for it, but certainly battle tested. Speeds up the maturing process and the bonding as well. Akinjo with the finish.
I think what that really does for you is when by the time you get to conference, because you know your conference, you're not going to play anybody like you do, as good as you play in the non-conference. So I think that just builds your confidence, number one. Even though you take those losses, you're still able to compete with the big dogs, and that gives you confidence going into conference. This steal right here, James Akinjo picking up where he left off in the battle for Atlantis.
Love to reward the young man for the steal on one end, let him finish on the other. And Solomon Bozeman knows he's not expected to have a Dave Aranda type turnaround with UAPB. You can't just expect within less than 2 years all of a sudden to be lifting trophies, but he's trying to put some roots down here for this team in his home state. He actually played college ball at Little Rock, most recently coming over from a different Golden program, the Golden Eagles of Oral Roberts up in Tulsa. Nice touch by Kylan Milton.
But I think he's going to do a great job at UAPB because I think he's motivated. And I think he's young enough to where he's hungry enough and really wants to be successful. He's going to do what it takes. It's going to be hard at HBCU, though, because HBCUs, you see, don't really get that much talent. But I think he can do it because he's right there. He's young enough. He wants it bad enough.
Right now, UAPB hanging within 11. It's 24-13 with 12 minutes to go in the opening half. Baylor. All right.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
New Highlander, Mr. D?
Yeah, it was time for a change. For something nicer, more refined, with plenty of...
Looking at the huddle of UAPB, first-year head coach Solomon Bozeman. And played his college ball at Little Rock, but one of the most notable things that's not listed on his bio for some reason is you and he are related, at least through one marriage.
Yeah, I like to tell people he's my cousin, but he's not really my cousin. But I like to tell people he's my cousin just because I'm proud of the guy. But my aunt, my Nanny Mo, we call it Nanny Mo, right? It stuck. I started when I was a kid. So my aunt married his uncle, Kevin Bozeman, and they're married. So I'm not technically like blood related, but I guess that's close enough so you can call me cousin because technically he's kind of your cousin.
It works for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, gets it done.
So again, King McClure disclosing all of his conflicts of interest on the broadcast today. I'm told you have some sort of tie to Baylor as well, but we can't get into it.
Yeah, I do a little something, man. I been here a few times.
Golden Lions are trailing 24-13. 9 of their 13 points have come off the bench. As Kylan Milton had a highlight flush earlier, and he's denied access to the rim this time. The rebound down to Matthew Meyer. Meyer running the floor. Shot clock at 20, game clock 11:40 and counting down. Dale Bonner joins the fold.
Good pass.
As our graphics operator just getting back from Arlington, where we're told there was a football game. We'll let him take you the rest of the way. Thomas unable to knock down the shot. One and done.
There we go. We have the score back. Love to see it.
Yeah, I ran out of fingers a few baskets ago, so I was just guesstimating. Flagler. Still 12 to shoot for Baylor. They'll work it inside and kick back out. And excellent work by Jalen Thomas, able to strip that ball away, have it go off of Baylor. Thomas last year at Murray State averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds a ball game before becoming a Golden Lion this year. They'll head to the bench.
It was actually a great defensive possession by UAPB. I mean, the ability to switch from the 1-3-1 to the 2-3 in the last 10 seconds. In the gap, great defense right there for UAPB getting the turnover.
Second straight game against a Big 12 opponent. They were in Ames, Iowa 3 nights ago. Some of you may have seen this on Twitter. Coach Bozeman actually, after calling a timeout, it wasn't to buy his men a chance to catch their breath. It was to make them run a lap down the court and back.
Listen, you know, I've seen a lot of things in basketball, but I have never seen that. And honestly, as a player, I do not know how I would feel about that. I mean, it's a timeout, coach. I got to catch my breath, and we're already losing by 25. So for you to make me run a lap, I don't know how I felt about that one.
Maybe when he asked you to pass the gravy at the Christmas dinner, you talked to him about that.
Make him run a lap first.
Matthew Meyer connects on one end, the answer on the other for UAPB. That ends in 0-for-4 drought from the floor from our visitors out of the SWAC.
I really like this adjustment right here, this 1-3-1 zone. Gives Baylor a different look because the way they weren't able to get stops in the man-to-man.
Myers 2 for 2 from long range. There's his first miss. And Baylor 0 for 2, that trip down. Meyer fighting to get it back, but all of the Bears had already retreated back on defense.
Flo Thamba has to make those. He has the size advantage. He has to go down there and score that.
Harris, one of your Arkansas natives, unable to knock it down. Scott Drew's going to rotate in another 3 men in a moment, make it 4. Off the screen, lost the ball, and this is back over to UAPB. Just losing the handle on it there is Flagler. So Matthew Myers, the only Bear who will stay on the floor in this swap of personnel for the green and gold, who are now 7-0 this year. Just picked 3rd in the preseason poll for the Big 12, but of course that's because they lost so much from last year's championship team, though Scott Drew found plenty of folks willing to replace those minutes, replacing all but one starter.
Good D.
Baylor within an inch a couple of times of a steal. 8 on the shot clock. Williams pulls the trigger, no.
Got to finish with a rebound.
And Williams 0 for 2, that trip down. And Akinjo, former All Pac-12, now competing here in Big 12 country. Long look from Cryer on the money.
Cannot go under the ball screen where LJ Cryer is coming off. That is a bucket because he shoots almost 50% from 3. Let's go over.
Baylor is 6 for 12 from beyond the arc. Cryer 3 for 3, has half of the triples. 10 to shoot. Myers denies Williams.
That's tough.
Closer look. Just gets a shot off in time. Baylor has won 17 straight home games. They have won 31 straight non-conference games.
Ooh.
And an and-one opportunity for Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua.
Lincoln, I think that's the next level for John. I think his ability to score in the low post, that's where he takes his game to the next level.
Well, he's about to take his game to the free throw line. When we come back here in Waco, the Bears are up early, 32-15 here at the Farrell Center. Welcome back inside the Farrell Center here on Big 12 Now. And before the break, a bucket from Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua, the pride out of Cameroon, former UNLV Rebel, at the line for the three-point play. Meanwhile, UAPB just one of their last 9 from the floor. Several second chance opportunities that they haven't been able to take advantage of. And 5 points now for Jonathan.
Lincoln, I've never understood how people can chew gum and play basketball at the same time. I feel like I'll bite my tongue or something like in transition.
Yeah, I've yet to have an analyst who can chew gum and call a game at the same time.
I don't know if that's possible, honestly. You have to listen to my smacking the whole time.
Shot clock down to 5. And will not get a shot off in time, and Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua celebrates that as much as he does the three-point play on the other end.
Because that's impressive. I mean, as a center, as a 6'9" center, being able to keep the ball in front of you on the perimeter when a guard is trying to attack you, that's impressive, and that's what gets you paid on the next level.
I mean, he showed up in Waco as just an alley-oop guy. That's how you get him involved in the game. Now really starting to round out on both ends. Meanwhile, Sohan.
He just plays so hard. I mean, it's sad to say that, but playing hard in today's game is a skill. In fact, that should be what every player does, but playing hard is a skill, and that's what John brings every single time he steps on the court.
An 8-0 run for Baylor has stretched the lead to 20. Bears have knocked down their last 3 shots, including that last bucket from Sohan. Isaiah Harrelson out of Pearland, Texas, just south of Houston. His 6th appearance on the year. As Williams matched up with Flagler. Shot clock is down to 2. I don't think they're going to get it off in time. Baylor defense stiffening. Solomon Bozeman can scream all he wants about the shot clock, but nobody out there recognizing that it had dwindled.
I mean, I just think that's Sean Williams' fault. You're a 6-year senior. You should know when the shot clock is going down and when you need to get the ball off. That's really unacceptable, honestly. So I'd be mad too if I'm a coach.
Cryer had a hand in the face from Williams. Offensive rebound for the Bears from Chamwa-Chachua. And Jonathan, boy, the Golden Lion bench saw the big man coming and got out of the way.
Uh-oh.
Third time, not the charm for Baylor.
Ooh.
Golden Lions finally come up with a stump. After Baylor had gone 3 for the last 3, they missed 3 on that one possession. And Cryer is not giving any breathing room to Sean Williams.
Somebody has to attack.
Shot clock down to 5. And that's the look they get. Halfway down, but won't go home for Thomas. Sohan just wanted it more, despite probably not having the better positioning.
Probably should have kicked that one out, but not upset because of the hustle on the rebound.
Both teams have missed their last 5 shots as our scoreboard operator's been able to take a few minutes for R&R.
Hey, John wants every boy. Not letting anybody get it.
That's the
Set the
third,
screen in transition.
5th rebound overall for Chanwa Chachua. 3 of them have been on the offensive glass. Akinjo will end the drought here in Waco. 11-0 run for the number 4 team in the land. And UAPB only has had 1 home game this year. They'll get back home against Arkansas State in 4 days. And Baylor empty-handed. Didn't sound like you approved.
Nah, he should have made a better decision right there. I mean, he's an elite level point guard with great vision, averaging almost 7 assists on the year. He has to make a better decision right there.
Baylor up by 23 thanks to a couple of 10-0 runs in this ball game. A lot like Avery Skinner from the service line in the NCAA volleyball tournament we've seen the past 2 nights here, which Ryan McGuire's women going 2-0. They've punched their ticket in the regional semifinals. It is a good time of year to be a fan of the green and gold. Baylor, by the way, also a basketball school. The defending national champs up 23. Non-conference play underway for the Baylor Bears after those 3 big wins in the battle for Atlantis. Baylor continues to climb back towards the top of the AP poll, sitting in 4th this week. Blue Devils, Boilermakers, and Gonzaga, a team Baylor knows fairly well, still sitting ahead of them in the poll. 2 other Big 12 teams factoring into the top 10 as well.
I really like Purdue. In my opinion, I think Purdue might be the best team in the country right now. Will it translate with the way they play and their bigs? I don't know if it'll translate to March, but right now in the current moment, I think Purdue is the best team in the country.
Yeah, it's all about peaking at the right time and staying healthy. Baylor at least has depth working in its favor. Great job by Scott Drew continuing to recruit. Lincoln Rose, King McClure, our entire Big 12 Now crew. Great to have you with us. It has been, again, a busy few days in Waco. The NCAA volleyball tournament opening 2 rounds the past 2 nights on this court. Baylor still among those in contention for the volleyball national title. And a really nice day so far for Kylan Milton, the product out of Conway, Arkansas, where Scottie Pippen played his college ball.
Conway, Arkansas. Other side note, Lincoln. My dad is from there. My whole family lives there.
Really should have worked with our graphics folks to get your whole family tree mapped out. Golden Lions ending their drought a moment ago, looking to chop away at the deficit before halftime. And of course, there was a certain Big 12 championship football game earlier today. Tonight, there's a women's basketball game on this court. That'll be on ESPNU as the Missouri Tigers come to town. Second chance points, the putback from Brandon Brown. Mention our officials, Doug Simmons, Gary Maxwell, Chance Moore, working our game today. And we just had that brief moment of halting play, a warning on a flop on one end. Next one will lead to a penalty kick. Williams with the kick out. 2 to go here in the opening half.
Oh, man, you should have shot that one.
Baylor up 19. Meyer drives. And Chanwa Chachua is going back to the free throw line. Baylor 3 for 3 at the stripe here in the opening half. Looking to end a 3-minute scoring drought. And a 20-point lead again for the Bears.
Into the game for Golden Lions, number 0, Bishop Stokes.
6 points for Jonathan. Second leading scorer behind the 9 points from Cryer, who's connected on 3 triples this half. Brandon Brown brings up the floor, finds Williams. And Williams 0 for 5 from the hardwood here in Waco.
Baylor's done a great job on him. I mean, they placed the emphasis because he was their best player. He is UAPB's best player, so they placed the emphasis on slowing him down. They've done a great job on him.
Arkansas-Pine Bluff foul number 11, Brandon Brown.
Brandon Brown's second foul. Again, a young man who's averaging almost a double-double per ball game in his first 9 outings coming into tonight. Half of those coming off the bench. LJ Cryer 6 for 8 coming into today from the free throw line. Talk about some great point guards. Cryer continues that. Scott Drew, 10 of his 11 point guards these past 2 decades have been all Big 12. Tom Chachua with the offensive board inside the final 90 seconds. Tom Chachua, 2 more, looking for another 3-point play. Still trying to become the second Bear in double-digit scoring.
The energy that he brings every single time he steps on the court is just so evident. I mean, you see there's a major upgrade when he comes in the game. He makes this Baylor team so much better.
Second foul on Sampson of UAPB. Big man knocks down his free throws. Baylor is 7 of 8 now from the line. Approaching the final minute of the opening half. Do a little deeper dive into James Akinjo at halftime. What a week it was for him. Chomwood Chonkwell with the steal and just not enough mustard on the pass. Style points, yes, but will it lead to actual points? Williams trying to get that 0 out of the box score, his first 2 points.
That's a tough bucket right there. Off balance fade to the bank shot. Tough bucket from Sean Williams right there.
No chance there for a Baylor rebound. They are out rebounding the Golden Lions 28-12 here in this opening half. They're one of the stingiest teams in the country in terms of giving up second chance points thanks to numbers like that. Shot clock off the rest of the way. Akinjo with the kick out. Final look for Baylor. And they will just let both teams head to the locker room. So Baylor back home for the first time since lifting the Battle for Atlantis trophy. Pick up a 44-21 lead going into the break against first-year head coach Solomon Bozeman. We have reached halftime in Waco. You're on Big 12 now. You're watching Big 12 basketball on Big 12 now, but understandably all the attention was on the gridiron a little bit earlier today throughout the greater Waco area. And boy, is Dave Aranda thrilled that Jaron McVeigh came back for his 6th year. This is 4th and goal, basically the final play of the game. No, sir. Baylor takes its first Big 12 championship game title by that much.
That right there was an impressive one-on-one play. Look at the pylon camera. No, sir. That's what Baylor Bears do. You're not one of us, so I don't expect you to understand. But that's what we do, Lincoln.
There is your less than traditional victory formation for Baylor just to get out of the end zone. But Dave Aranda, wow, what a job in just his first 2 years. Give that man a ring.
That's impressive. I mean, to turn the program around after a 2-7 season last year was horrible.
This is after everybody in Waco were makeshift Oklahoma State fans 1 week ago when they were playing in Bedlam.
Yeah.
My, how the tide turned. Congratulations to the green and gold. And again, so many memories made out there. Of course, some common bonds. And, well, We've got more room for banners in Waco, but there's already a lot, including that one from Indianapolis when Scott Drew was just about eligible to run for mayor. They were up there for a month. Go 6-0, win the national championship. That was a pretty stress-free game against Gonzaga that day. It looked like it might be a stress-free football game, but it got tight at the end. But again, congratulations. Football champions in the Big 12 for Baylor, defending basketball national champions. Women's team is coming up later on tonight on ESPNU on this court against Missouri. I'm told they have a pretty decent history as well. And of course, volleyball is about to be among just 16 teams still playing for the national championship this fall.
Yeah, Baylor is hot right now. I mean, just shows the job that Mac Rhodes has done. He's done an incredible job hiring great coaches who can really go out there and recruit and bring the best athletes to Baylor. And we're hot right now. I think it's going to stay this way.
Big thanks to our entire crew who's put in the hours over these past few days just right here at the Farrell Center with that NCAA volleyball tournament as well as basketball today. These fans can't get enough. A great crowd. They're trying to watch Baylor here up close in person, find a non-conference win. We see Solomon Bozeman again, the first-year head coach of UAP, just trying to plant the seed for something special over there in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And Big 12 and SWAC colliding today. Lucked away by Meyer.
Oh, what are you doing? Oka pass.
And free throws coming up. Again, Matthew Meyer out of Westlake High School from Austin. Most notably Drew Brees, but Chris Mim had an NBA career, the 7-footer. Played with the Cavs and the Lakers out of Westlake High.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, you I assume, have erased most former Longhorns out of your head. Mim spent a couple years down there in his backyard in Austin.
Look, I played at Westlake in high school, right? And one of my most memorable games, I had 50. I had 50 in that game at Westlake in the gym. Matthew was not on that team, though. So
My goodness.
Yeah, Matthew wasn't on that team. But, yeah, I had 50
He could be. Whatever you say on this broadcast becomes eligible for his Wikipedia page. So a half minute into the second half. Williams locked down by Adam Flagler defensively on the perimeter. Get some help from Sohan. And that is a tipped shot by Thamba. Little contact.
And one.
Durante Doolittle looking like he wanted it on 4th and goal.
Kendall Brown coming down in transition. You're going to take the charge. Take it. Take it with your chest. But you can't do it like that. And one, Kendall Brown.
First trip to the line today. Brown early on in the season, 10 for 14 from the free throw line. The Minnesota native. He is the 5-star recruit. This is a compliment when I say it. Acts like a 0-star recruit. He plays like a 5-star recruit, but there is just a humbleness about him. And he is patiently waiting for a spot to get mopped up. He'll even come out to help.
Matthew Mears, everybody, mopping up the floor. Good job, Matthew.
So all 4 points on this side of halftime belong to the green and gold.
Oh, man.
A little too much law. Brown goes the other way. No assist on that play. Brown gets the bucket.
Kendall Brown is just so mature for his age. I mean, he knows his game so well. It's kind of rare. I mean, you got to find yourself in college, but he already knows himself. His ability to be able to take his time, make the right reads, and not try to do too much. I've been very impressed with him so far.
UAPB unable to cross midcourt in 10 seconds. Be some growing pains.
Yeah, just a few along the way.
And Solomon Bozeman's had some nice stops as an assistant. Oral Roberts before that at Abilene Christian, which really caught fire under head coach Joe Golding. Time in the Southland Conference after they transitioned to Division I. Akinjo out of the corner finds his spot. Just happens to be wearing a headband. That and more that we learned at halftime. A kickball, not allowed in this sport. It's a 9-0 run on this side of halftime for Baylor. Now, if you want to brag on UAPB, they already have 4 second chance points. Baylor is among the best in the country. They're only giving up 4.7 second chance points per ball game.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, even though you're losing, that's a whoa.
They're going to be a little lenient on that. A, I thought there might have been an extra step, and then B, not sure how that got out of the hand in time. They're going to go consult and monitor. They do initially count the bucket.
Let's see right here. If we can't see the.
Yeah, the backboard does not light up. They are not going to count the bucket. It was in fact a shot clock violation. That's at least 3 now for the ball game. And Akinjo will give it back along the baseline. 2 leading scorers for Baylor right now on the bench in Cryer and Chamwa Chachua. Each with 10 points in that opening half. Leading scorer on the floor right now, Kendall Brown with 9. Again, no starters returning from last year's 4-21 team that went 3-13 in the SWAC for UAPB.
4-21. Oh, good.
Reinvented lineup this year. And that one does beat the shot clock by about 1.5 seconds. There are 12 teams in the SWAC. UAPB picked 11th by their peers. Part of this rebuilding process. Those are the first 2 points of the second half for the Golden Lions. Brown somehow able to find the angle up and over Sampson, who did a nice job denying him access to the rim initially. Catch and release from Milton, no. 7 rebounds for Thamba now. So 3 players now in double digits for Baylor as Brown became the leading scorer for the ball game with 11. And that one, Brown just missed timing his jump. Don Williams and his teammates trying to give coach as much film to look at after this. They continue with their non-conference run. They finally head back home. Meyer from the corner, got it. Matthew Meyer a little under 30% from downtown, the big man. As he becomes the 4th Bear in double-digit scoring.
Ooh. Kendall Brown has to learn right there. You got to dive on the floor for those balls to get out the way. That's how you get hurt.
Will step aside. 15:48 to go in the second half. The number 4 team in the nation right now, up 58-25 on Big 12 Now. Back on Big 12 Now, Baylor 29-1 over the last 2 seasons here at home. The only loss, a 3-point loss in February a couple years ago to Kansas. Take a look around the Big 12. One other game tonight of interest, the Cyclones against the Blue Jays, and you're going to be a busy man. Quick turnaround, send you out to Xavier and Oklahoma State tomorrow.
I will be doing that game on ESPN2, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central Time. Tune in.
Boom, that's how it's done. Thinking Rose, King McClure, I get tomorrow off. Try to get my team into the fantasy football playoffs. First free throw. Second one won't go on the day for UAPB. Baylor with 4 men in double digits, led by Brown's 11. I'm with Chachua with 10. To go with his 10 rebounds, the double-double already. Sohan taken out. Yeah. Kayshawn Stokes looked like had a decent angle, and then somehow a gust of wind blew him right into the shooter.
At first, it looked like they weren't going to call it a foul, but yeah, that's definitely a foul right here.
This wasn't, I'm going to stick my toe out and draw contact.
Nah, I'm going to put my whole body into it, try to block this shot. You know, he had no chance to block it because Jeremy Sohan is 6'9". So he honestly should have just tried to contest, get a late contest, but don't take my man out.
Baylor shooting better than 80% from the line now, 10 for 12. That's the first free throw for Sohan. Now the Brit needs to put a little better English on that one. One more to go. So Baylor 11 of its 60 points from the line. Baylor's next opponent 8 days from now. Have you heard of this team, Villanova?
Are they good?
Allegedly, we saw them on that AP poll earlier on the broadcast. That's going to be an ABC game.
That'll be a good game. I think that'll
December
be
12th.
That'll be a great test for Baylor, just because Villanova is older, their experience, and they're probably, not even probably, they are the,
Oh, Mr. Meyer, he gets the dime on that one.
But does he? Oh. Wow.
Let's see if we can show you every angle of that.
Yeah, off of the, I can't even say pass.
He meant to do this.
Off of the, oh my goodness. Catch a body. Jeremy
Sohan catches that
Sohan.
under the rim and somehow muscles it over. A kick ball on Baylor. Wow. In case it's a slow sports day, hashtag SC Top 10.
But back to what I was saying earlier about Villanova being the first real test. We saw a little bit of Michigan State, but Villanova's the best team that Baylor will play in the non-conference, and that'll be a great test for these Bears.
Yeah, love it that those two teams don't shy away from each other in non-conference play. No downside to playing that game.
There's none. I mean, if you lose, they're a top 5 team, so it doesn't really hurt you in the resume. But if you win, that's a major win going into the tournament. That could be the difference between a 3 seed and a 2 seed.
They put pressure on Akinjo as Meyer helps him up the floor. Pryor, already 10 points today. Sohan a little farther from the rim this time, as is Mr. Meyer. Had not made a start in his career, and all of a sudden you can't get him off the floor. His first 93 games for Matthew Meyer, all off the bench. But he has plugged into the starting 5 this year for Scott Drew.
Matthew Meyer, instant offense every single time he touches the ball, looking to score, but he's matured. And now he's starting to be able to make that extra pass, make the right play instead of just looking to score all the time.
It's a 7-0 run, most recently with those 3 points for Meyer. Williams nails the 3.
That looked pretty. That looked good when he left his hand.
And the senior out of Little Rock went all the way over to start his college ball at New Mexico State, coming a little closer to home in Louisiana at Nichols. And a foul away from the basketball.
A 3 by the Bears. Matthew Meyer, no hesitation, let it fly. But on the other end, the response by Sean Williams, who gets buckets for this UAPB team. Back-to-back threes.
7 points for Williams. For Meyer, that's his 4th 3. He's 4 for 5 today. Those 4 triples are a career high. Thought he might try to make it 5 right there. A little closer look on the baseline. Just to pad his rebounding stats. Now he'll go to the charity stripe.
That's so tough to do at 6'9". You had a guard who was 6'2" on you, being able to take the take the contact, take the pressure, get by him, miss the first shot, but because of his length, get the ball back and still be able to go to the free throw line. At 6'9", you're not supposed to be able to move or do things like that. That's why he's getting much attention on that next level.
UAPB's leading scorer tonight, Brown, with 9 points, just picked up his 4th personal foul. So Brandon Brown's going to come off for a little while.
Into the game for the Golden Lions, number 3, Jalen Thomas, and number 14, Brandon Harris.
Meyer 2 for 3 from the line now with 1 more to go. Preseason All Big 12 this year. Sohan just could not secure the offensive board. Williams from the corner. That would have given him 10 points on the. Sohan drew 3 defenders and throws it to a 4th. Transition the other way.
Ooh, that was pretty.
Tayshawn Stokes with the power dribble goes up strong.
That was a pretty hop through right there by Stokes. Saw the defender's momentum and drove the other way.
Commits the foul on the other end. The pride of Headland, Alabama.
Stokes being able to see where LJ Cryer was going, reach over. Nice move in transition right there by Stokes.
Back in the game for your Bears, number 10, Adam Flagler.
Last time we saw Baylor at home, a convincing win over Stanford out of the Pac-12. And last week, battle for Atlanta's 3 wins in 3 days. LJ Cryer pours in another pair. He's got a dozen.
That's where LJ Cryer has improved the most, his ability to drive. Last year he was really more of a spot-up shooter, and that's really what he was known for, but he can really get to the cup now and finish at a high rate.
He was the 5th guard on that national championship team, but the way the dominoes fall this year, getting more and more time as the 3rd guard on the team, working his way up and making the most of his time on the floor. Drops 1 defender. And free throws. As Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua, 4 for 4 today from the line. Already a double-double. The 1st on the year for Jonathan, the 5th of his career. In case you didn't believe me. I misspoke. I think I said 5th career, 2nd career.
Number 11, Brandon Brown, and number 23, Trey Sampson. Back in the game for your Bears, number 2, Kendall Brown.
Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua, we mentioned from Cameroon, but promptly headed to Australia to be a part of the NBA Global Academy. Started his college ball in the States at UNLV. Now here with the defending national champs in Waco. I mean, you get some status on the airlines just on a few of those hops.
I doubt he had any like miles though, like any advantage programs or anything like that. I just got mine like last year or 2 years ago.
I think most of us lost anything we had over the past couple of years.
Yeah, because of the pandemic for sure. No, that's a no call.
Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua is just hoping not to get stepped on. Had no place to go.
Man, these refs ready to get out of here.
Need to get that man a GoPro. It's been a fun angle. Inside 12 minutes. Baylor up 70-33 over UAPB. Trying to create some space. Cryer. Second chance points opportunity. 0 for 2 from beyond the arc that time down. Now Brandon Brown the other way. Back on the floor with his 4 fouls. Harris for 3. Sohan 8 points to go with 4 rebounds now.
Good Great rebound to the cutting LJ. That's a skill, being able to pass out the post. Good look right there by John.
Baylor with a 28-12 edge on the scoreboard here in the second half. As that will take us to a break here at the Farrell Center. Again, non-conference play here on Big 12 now. Baylor up big. Well, you take a look, Scott Drew, 135, just 16 losses against non-conference opponents in his 19 years at the helm of this program since 2012. 70 wins compared to just 4 losses. Farrell Center, Farrell Fortress. And not to take anything away from the head coach of the defending national champions, but it's not just his men's basketball team. There are 4 different athletics programs that call the Farrell Center home, and there have been a whole lot more victories than losses here in this gym.
You know, it's sad for me to say this, but I think I was a part of 2 of those 4 losses. the more I thought about it, when you asked that question, I was like, wait a second. I was a part of 2 of those bad losses.
During the break, I asked my producer who were the 4 people, and that's what planted the seed in King's head and now has ruined his day.
Texas Southern and SFA on this court.
SFA is respectable.
In the same year.
And Texas Southern's picked to win the SWAC this year. I don't know what they were picked that year when they beat you.
I don't think they were that good. We shouldn't have lost to either one of them, but I was a part of 2 of those 4 that I can remember off the top. I might have been a part of more.
SFA probably had Brad Underwood, now the coach of Illinois, after his brief stop at Oklahoma State. Baylor right now, about midway through the second half, has doubled up their foe. We'll step aside as Baylor next up, Villanova in 8 days. When we last left you, Jeremy Sohan going to the line, but take a look at Solomon Bozeman, where they're projected in his first year in the SWAC, as they are looking up at most of the league. Mentioned Texas Southern, Prairie View A&M, your favorites. I'm told Coach Prime is just sticking to football. He's not going to be a 2-sport coach. UAPB picked 11th out of the expanded 12-team SWAC. Baylor thought they were disrespected being picked 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, 11th that's rough. I mean, they honestly, you have nowhere to go but up.
Well, you have 8 newcomers, only 1 freshman of those 8, the other 7 transfers, no starters returning.
Ooh.
Sohan. Second chance points for Baylor. That's a category they were losing. Now each team with 24 points on second chance opportunities. Been the bulk of UAPB, or pardon me, points in the paint. Second chance points 6 for UAPB is still above the average given up by Baylor this year.
Oh.
There's your man advantage. Can't knock it down. And tracked down by Flagler. Again, this is just the first of 2 basketball games here tonight at the Farrell Center. The women host Missouri coming up on ESPNU, 7 o'clock Central tonight.
Oh, that's tough.
Maintain that pivot. That big toe stayed planted.
That is a tough move, being able to stop on a dime, not travel. A lot of guys would have picked up that back foot and traveled. That's great awareness right there. Then the length, allowed him to finish. Great move. But I can't speak today. What's wrong with my speech?
When you talk to your cousin Solomon next, tell him he's got great defensive stance over there. I love coaches who are ready to D up any given moment.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's young, he's energetic, he wants to win. That's why I think he'll do a great job here at UAPB. Oh.
He just ran out of real estate. This ball back over for the Golden Lions. Watch the big left toe, just boop.
That's impressive. Stop on a dime right here. Not travel, being able to maintain balance. Get to the rim. Maybe should have dunked it for the extra flair, but I don't know if he was that long and athletic.
Room for improvement is what you're saying.
You know, just a little bit. There's always, you can always do better at something, right?
I mean, it's just the start of December. Don't want to peak too early.
Yes, you got a point.
Pryor. 14 points, tied for the game high with Mr. Meyer. Game where Baylor's shooting 50% from the floor, 41% from beyond the arc. While UAPB struggled from beyond the arc, 3 of 23. And need to hit some of those threes. Next 8 minutes to scrap their way back into this one. Another trip to the line for Cryer. 1 for 2 today from the charity stripe. He and his teammates 14 of 20. And Baylor trying to improve to 8-0 for colliding with Villanova. We'll have a little over a week to prepare for the Wildcats. Bears pick behind Texas and the Jayhawks in the Big 12 preseason poll.
Which I think the Bears are better than both of them. Non-biased. I think the Bears are better than both of those teams, to be honest.
We'll step aside. I don't think King's going to change his opinion during the break, though.
Nope.
7:47 still to go. 7:47 still to go here in the second half. Take a look at some of our Big 12 news and notes. A nice start collectively by the Big 12. Year in, year out, if not the best conference, certainly in the conversation each year. You take a look, 3 Big 12 programs in the Associated Press top 10. We mentioned them earlier. These are your 3 preseason favorites within conference play as well. The Bears, Longhorns, and Jayhawks. And the stats certainly back it up. Tama Chachua adds to his double-double, 13 rebounds now. It'll stay on this end. That is a career-high 13 rebounds for Jonathan.
Uh-oh.
Lob to Tama Chachua,
Oh, my goodness.
who went with the kinder, gentler approach at the rim.
You should have flushed that one.
And he not only has a career high in rebounds, but in points as well, now with 14.
And then Air John, everyday John, you have to dunk this one. Maybe lost his footing, but you have to dunk that, Jonathan. You cannot lay it up. That is your time to shine.
And again, coming up next over on ESPNU, 7 o'clock Central, we promise it's not going to get started before we go off the air. Women's basketball team, Coach Nikki Collin these days at the helm of the Bears. They'll be welcoming the women from Columbia, Missouri, out of the SEC. Similar color schemes. Instead of Golden Lions, I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade to Tigers.
Yeah, that's actually a good comparison right there. I like what you did right there because they are similar color schemes. Should be a good game tonight. Our women's team, phenomenal. Coach Collin is a great coach.
So, see how many fans get to double dip, taking in some great basketball. Of course, their day was kicked off watching an 11 a.m. kick up in Arlington. As Baylor picked up its first championship game title in the Big 12. And tomorrow should find out where they're headed around the new year. Turner.
Ooh, good pass.
Nifty dish, it's Thamba who shows him how to throw it down.
That's what John should have did right there. The flush flow, show him how to do it.
And a couple of high percentage shots. Baylor's made 5 for its last 5. It was Jordan Turner lobbing it.
Ooh, with the fake bounce pass, go up high right there. Good fake, good look off. Flo Thamba showing everybody how to dunk with authority.
And we're seeing some new faces for Baylor out there. Zach Loveday along the baseline.
that's nice.
Cryer still in the ball game, piling on some more points. He's got 17 for the game high.
That's nice. Able to hang in the air, get the easy layup. I love the way he's improved on his finishing.
Dale Bonner back in for a second time. Shot won't fall for Isaiah Harrelson.
Ooh.
Nothing but net. As Cryer's got 20 points. That's his fourth triple. 7-0 run for Baylor. They've made their last 7 shots. And Cryer within a point of his career high. Turner. Loveday from the corner.
Oh.
Yes, sir, the 7-footer. With his wingspan, probably could have finger rolled that.
Wow, I did not think he was going to confidently stroke it, but he did.
Got to read the scouting report, King.
Wow, Zach Loveday shooting it from the arc. Okay.
He's now a 50% three-point shooter this year.
What, he's 1 for 2?
1 for 2.
Oh, okay.
Don't think he qualifies for any national leaderboards. That's a 50% increase from what he was.
There we go.
And a rebound for Loveday. 10-0 run for Baylor. They've made their last 8 shots, including that triple from Loveday, who's now planted in the opposite corner. Oh, gotta look it in.
Zach Loveday extending his range right here, looking like a, I was gonna say Dirk, but I don't know if I should give that compliment. Looking something similar to that, but Zach Loveday extending his range.
I was talking to David Kay, sports director for this Baylor men's basketball program earlier this year, and one of the things he summed up just in 2 words: has range. DK not disappointing with his scouting report there. Also says he's a left hand. 2 for 2.
Love DK.
Pulling double duty. He's up with the football team. He's going to get back probably late.
Hey, DK is racking up the rings, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Getting a national championship ring and a Big 12 football ring, too. Man.
Probably some hotel points from up in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Shout out to DK.
We don't have time, but just more love for David Kay. If you Google him, there's a great story about
another one.
He and his wife. Loveday is human. He's now just a 33% three-point shooter on the year, if you round down.
I love that he's not afraid to let it fly, though.
Turner.
Oh.
Maybe needs to skip arm day.
Oh, with the dunk.
7-footer with the flush.
Oh, he can shoot and finish.
And there may have been an inadvertent poke to the eye of Dale Bonner. Hopefully he's going to be okay.
That looked painful.
Eyes watering up a little bit. And Baylor hit triple digits. That reminds me,
Ooh.
the first week of December, and we're all sweating out there. But no sweating for this men's basketball team for Baylor. Up big, and it is all day Zach Loveday. Inside 3.5 to go, as Baylor Bears, their bench has put up 51 of their 91 points here today.
Oh, wow. You get more production out the bench than the starters. And their bench outscored UAPB. That's impressive. And that goes to the point that we've been making all day, Lincoln. Depth. There we go. Good call on that.
Baylor's knocked down 9 of their last 11 shots. Some of those have been pretty high percentage shots, including some dunks. And they're about to be able to try to stretch a 12-2 run here at the line with Flo Thamba. Now to Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo. The high school, the Commonwealth of Virginia. Only starter. He was the only man, when we say only starter, it's not just typical starter. He had the only 30 starts on this team coming into the year. And we're we're about to introduce you to Mitchell Paul of Leawood, Kansas, the Kansas City area. Senior. A walk-on added just a few weeks back. Working on his MBA in accounting. Give our stat man, Daniel Ramirez, a run for his money.
Oh, man, good pass.
Good feed down low, and just to get into the box score, Mitchell Paul with the film. You got a scouting report on Mitchell Paul?
Actually, I was able to, I had to work out with Mitchell Paul this past summer because I was training for the TBT, and I had a few workouts with the Spurs and the Mavericks and had to train with Coach P. And Mitchell Paul, his way to get on the team was by working out with me to see how good he was. So I actually do. He can really shoot. He can really shoot the ball. Nice little handle on him.
So are you telling me the Spurs have footage on Mitchell Paul as well?
That was my way to get ready, is by staying here working out.
I got you.
But he can play. He's not a bad player. Older guy, probably about close to my age, but the kid can hoop.
We will all be working for him one day.
Speak for yourself.
Loveday sets the screen.
Oh, good move.
Bonner just can't finish, and the lefty doesn't go either. Drive from Gabriel Vargas, the Miami native. The rare freshman on this roster for UAPB. And pass broken up by another man we haven't mentioned, Austin Sachs out of Los Angeles. Didn't play at Santa Clara, but transfers over from Santa Clara. The walk-on for Scott Drew. .14 on the shot clock.
Oh.
Not going to need to use any of it. Chance for a three-point play after Amadou Fall gets the bucket. UAPB on a little 6-0 run, trying to close things out in style, get some positive momentum going into their next matchup when they finally get back home for a Division I foe in Arkansas State. Then their next road trip will be to Austin, Texas, take on the Longhorns. Approaching the final 2 minutes. Baylor fans arrived at the Farrell Center in a good mood. Looks like they're going to stay that way. Hopefully they'll stick around as well for the nationally televised matchup coming up between the women and Missouri on ESPNU. Courtney Lyle and Carolyn Peck with the call of that one.
Carolyn, the GOAT of all GOATs in women's basketball. Almost none better than her. Very few, if there are any, but she is the GOAT. One of my favorite people in the industry. And she's an absolute sweetheart. Kindest person, one of the kindest people you ever meet.
I don't think she can hear you, though she's about 12 feet from us, so if you need to repeat yourself a little louder, go for it. At the line, Mitchell Paul, his first free throw of the year, averaging a point per contest. And he's a numbers guy. He's right at that average.
Hey, there we go, Mitchell. Way to get a bucket in a game.
Let's double that average. Look at that grin. See me after class. 2 minutes to go. Now the biggest drama is whether or not Baylor will hit 100.
Oh, and Mitchell with the steal. Will he get a beat, though?
Paul with the strip on one end and the layup on the other. He's on a one-man 3-0 run.
I see you, Mitchell. Way to show out today.
All these young men work so hard in practice. Such a vital part of the team.
Pass.
Top to bottom.
Oh.
Loveday with a block.
Oh, and the guard skills.
All right, Mitchell Paul, career high 3 points. Gonna share the well.
Through. Oh.
Austin can't knock it down.
Oh, that's tough.
Transition the other way from Brown. 17 points for Brandon Brown, the team high. One of 2 in double figures along with Williams, who had 10 today. And a silky smooth stroke from Jordan Turner. Got Baylor at 97.
Will they get to 100?
A valid question.
Oh.
Doolittle did a little more.
You got to shoot this because it's
Yeah, a few seconds
24.
separate
Yeah,
the two.
you got to shoot this. So let's see. Will they get to 100?
Baylor's got 13 threes.
Oh.
Looking to make it a 14th. No. There is perhaps your newest National Player of the Year candidate, Mitchell Paul. He has
Mitchell
packed a
Paul.
punch over the past few minutes.
Oh. Padding his stats right there, huh?
It is likely going to be a 99-point evening for the Baylor Bears as they will top UAPB for the victory. Baylor is 8-0 with their sights set on Villanova in a nationally televised matchup coming up in a little over a week. UAPB finally gets to head home, take on Arkansas State before hitting the road again. And Mitchell Paul, one of our many candidates for feel-good stories of the game, if not player of the game.
Mitchell Paul came out there and finally got up shots. What you do as a walk-on. Step on the court, walk on, get shots.
LJ Cryer had 20 points for the game high, as ultimately, again, Baylor picks up the win. Reminder, all games airing on ESPN networks are streamed live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. For King McClure, I'm Lincoln Rose. Baylor takes this one, 99-54.